Hey guys, so the first grammar that we're working on is going to be possessive adjectives, which is review from the junior high, so it'll be relatively easy. Your possessive adjectives are words that help you describe what something belongs to. Easy. Words like my, your, our, their, those are possessive adjectives. They replace a definite article. So they refer to specific nouns. So they replace the definite articles le, la, les, and l'apostrophe, of course. You probably remember all of the forms, but to say my, you've got mon, ma, and mes. So you would say, for example, mon chat, because chat is masculine. Ma voiture, my car, because car is feminine, so ma. And mes amis, my friends. For the second person singular, you've got ton, ta, and te. And then for the third person singular, you've got son, sa, and se. So a little bit extra note about son, sa, and se is that they can each translate to his, her, or its. So I could say, for example, son frère, and you don't know who I'm talking about. You don't know if I'm talking, well, you don't know the owner to whom I'm referring. You don't know if son frère means his brother or her brother. In French, it doesn't really matter. The context makes it clear. So it's not necessary to specify a separate his or her. Son frère means someone's brother, someone that we were just talking about. For the first person plural, you've only got two forms. You've got a singular, notre, which you may recognize as in Notre Dame, Our Lady of Paris, Notre Dame de Paris. And then the plural form is nos, N-O-S. For the second person plural / formal, you've got votre and vos. And then for the third person plural to say their, you've got leur and leur. And so if you want to say their friend, singular, leur ami, L-E-U-R. And if you want to say their friends, leurs amis, L-E-U-R-S. But for the most part, they sound the same unless it begins with a vowel, like in that case, leur ami, their one friend, leurs amis, their friends. So again, as this is review, a lot of this is super familiar, but possessive adjectives agree with the noun that they describe. What does that mean, they agree? That means they match in terms of gender and number with whatever you're talking about. So if you want to say, this is my brother, you say, voici mon frère. It doesn't matter if you are female or male, voici mon frère. It's always going to be that because your brother is masculine. And so that word mon helps to define him as masculine. You cannot say in French, ma frère. It doesn't exist. But if you wanted to say, c'est ma sœur, that's my sister, sure. If you want to say, likewise, here comes his or her brother, and we talked already about son, sa, and se, and how it can translate several ways. I could say, voilà son frère. Here comes son frère. Do we know if that's his brother or her brother? No, but again, it does not matter. And likewise, if you've got a feminine, you've got c'est sa sœur, that's his sister, that's her sister. We don't know. It doesn't matter for French people. It's whomever we've been referring to recently. That's who we're talking about. It can be tricky a little bit when it comes to the third person, singular and plural. So, for example, if you want to say that's their cousin, say leur cousin. You use the plural, leur, to describe that it belongs to them, the cousin, rather. And then it's not plural because you're talking about one cousin. C'est leur cousin, L-E-U-R, and then cousin, no S on the end, all singular. If you want to say these are his or her cousins, you say ce sont ses cousins, right? C'est meaning belonging to him or her, we don't know. And then cousin, because cousin in the plural. And you know that because you heard c'est cousin. And cousin would end in an S. One tricky thing, one extra little tricky thing, and this is to avoid hiatus, which we've talked about before, but if you have a word that begins with a vowel, for example, ami, or right? So if you want to say my friend, whether if you're talking about a female, you cannot say ma amie because you would have to stop the sound in your throat, and French people do not do that. So instead, what you say is mon ami. For them, it flows. So it's no hyphen T hyphen, it's no contraction this time. You just use the masculine forms for a feminine word. Mon ami, when you hear it, you cannot tell if we're talking about a female friend or a male friend, but when you see it on paper, you'll see, for example, in the sentence you have, mon ami va à Québec, my friend is going to Quebec. It's a female friend, and you can tell because you've got the E at the end of ami. Likewise, if I say my student is intelligent, mon élève est intelligent. That's referring to a male, but I could also say mon élève est intelligente, right? In that sentence, I'm referring to a female, and you can hear it in the adjective intelligent or intelligente, but you cannot hear it in mon élève because it's just going to be mon élève regardless. And then a third example, which is timely, mon école est fermée, my school is closed. School is feminine, but you still say mon école because it begins with a vowel. All right, one last grammar thing, and that is that relationships between nouns are traced opposite in French and English. So if I want to say my sister's friend, in English, I start with myself, my sister's friend, and I move further and further away from me. In French, you start far away, so you say l'ami de ma sœur, the friend of my sister. And so you start with the friend, and then and you're used to this. That was one of our first lessons of the year because we said, for example, chess club is le club d'échecs, and a horror film is un film d'horreur. So in French, you say a club of chess and a film of horror. So it's the same principle that we're working with here. You've got the friend of my sister, and it's logical to express it that way in English as well. So if you're struggling with this, you can just start on the opposite side, think of it in English, and then translate it to French. So the friend of my sister, ah yes, l'ami de ma sœur. That makes it easy that we have the flexibility in English to do it both ways. Likewise, if you want to say my brother's friend's cousin, tracing from yourself, my brother's friend's cousin, you're going to, instead in French, start with the cousin. Le cousin de l'ami de mon frère, the cousin of the friend of my brother. D'accord? So if you do it that way, again in English, the cousin of the friend of my brother, you can hear as well that you've got the thes in there, and you need to have the thes. Le cousin de l'ami, the cousin of the friend de mon frère. And then the last example that you've got on there, my twins' teacher's aunt. Who do you start tracing with? The aunt in French. So, la tante du prof de mes jumeaux. Encore, if you were to have twins, which none of you do. So, I'll give you some practice to do on the back, and I'll go over an example, and then you'll be able to check your answers. Au revoir.